Hey there, how's it going? I'm just sort of testing my wintertime talking head video setup. If you watch some of the early stuff, I was in the garage trying to stay warm, and just sort of dependent on the wintertime sunshine to stay consistent. So I want to just do a quick test video, but also a quick update. But before I get into that, what can I do for you? What kind of questions can I answer? Let me know. Comment on this video, send me a message to my email. What is it about bait finesse stuff that you want to know? Now, I'm still pretty new. I've been doing it a lot this year, but I'm sharing my journey with you. So if you have questions that I can help answer, I'd love to do that. I do have a couple videos planned in response to questions. One of them I've been working on, and I got like one more little piece to get figured out. And that's spinning versus bait finesse. Like, why would you choose one versus the other? And then another question that comes up fairly often, and I'll probably do this video once the weather changes a little bit and I can't go fishing quite as much, but it's the idea of like, why do you use left-handed reels? I'm curious to hear other people's comments on why maybe you use left-handed reels, but I know why I chose to make the switch. And after this year of fishing bait finesse left-handed, I'm never going back. I also have a couple of, I'll call them educational videos planned, and so those will be coming. But really what it's about, I'm trying to do a ton of fishing. Quite frankly, I can't wait for September to end. It just feels like I haven't been able to catch any decent fish in September. But hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. You get into a little bit of a dry spell. But I will say that back in February, I sort of started this channel with the idea of I wanted to go fishing 52 times in 2022. And then I had the crazy idea to do the May Fishing Challenge. So it became sort of obvious that I was going to make that. But as of right now, I'm at 48 trips this year in 2022. So with 3 months left to go, and quite frankly, 2 of those are probably some of my favorite months to fish, I'm going to get to 52. In fact, maybe even by the end of September, if the weather holds and everything else works out, I'll get those other 4 trips in the next basically 10 days. So on top of that goal, there are 3 more species that I'd like to catch. New species. I've never caught them. They're not immediately around me, but they are around. And so I'm going to see if I can't catch a few new species, which means going some different places and maybe trying some different techniques. So that'll be fun. And, as I mentioned, September has been rough. Quite frankly, August and September both have been rough for me. As I've been looking at, the patterns and what am I struggling with, I realized that I really get dialed in on certain techniques. I've caught so many fish on the Nico Helgramite and on Ned rigs the last couple years. I'm so spinnerbait confident because honestly, for a few years, about the only thing I caught fish on. I wasn't fishing a ton, but the only thing that I could reliably catch a fish on was a spinnerbait. So I tend to go to those 2 quite often. I tend to buy a lot of those kind of things, the soft plastics and the spinnerbaits. Fall is one of those times, fall and actually all the way through the winter. It's one of those times where crankbaits tend to do well when other stuff doesn't. And I've hardly ever caught fish on a crankbait. So I'm making a commitment to spend more effort buying, so actually getting a nice assortment of crankbaits in my tackle arsenal, so to speak, but also fishing with crankbaits. So I'm going to try to get a little bit more crankbait first. The closest thing that I've come to really using crankbaits a lot is on trout with the HD trout, sort of the little jerk bait, the minnow lures. So I'll definitely do some of those for trout too, but I'm going to put a little bit more of a focus on crankbaits for the next couple months. So hopefully that's something that you can learn along with me. If you have some favorites that I should check out, let me know. That would be fantastic. Probably the last thing is I'm settling into, a little bit of a fall routine that will make me more productive. I really took a lot of the summer off. I didn't fish a whole bunch during the summer because I spent a lot of time with my wife and family, and most of them just don't fish much. And so I'm sort of the oddball of the family that I'm so into this. But I was growing up too. I would spend an entire week on the river when everybody else was like, I don't know how you can just sit there and do that. So, but it is meditation for me. And, and it's the process of going out and almost the battle, man versus nature. How do you fool these amazing creatures into biting on an artificial bait and, sort of playing that game with you? And that's why, honestly, when I have a day where I struggle and I don't catch a whole bunch, I go ahead and share it. I have no illusions that I'm this master angler who always catches a ton of nice fish. And honestly, you probably are the same way, right? You probably have days where it's frustrating and you try 20 different baits and really just nothing works. And I think that's the way fishing goes. I always heard saying growing up, that's why they call it fishing, not catching. So I don't like to have a whole bunch of those days, but honestly, I've had a few here lately. So, but that's just the way it is. And so I'm keeping it real. I'm sharing those kind of things. I'm not sharing the whole 2 or 3 hours worth of no catching fish, but I'm at least trying to give you the thought process and what I'm working through and just some of the challenges that I've been through. Fishing videos will continue on here mid-October. Trout season starts picking back up in Pennsylvania, so that'll be definitely more of the focus. And then I've got some reel reviews and some rod reviews that I'm going to do, and probably some gear reviews as well. I've been using a lot of different, or at least a few different Ned style hooks, and so I want to talk about some of those. And maybe once we get through the crankbait stuff, I'll talk about, comparison of different crankbaits and how those worked out. That's just sort of the state of the channel, so to speak. And one last thing, this is sharing it at the end because, if you're one of the people that's been with me this year and you watch all the videos, you're the kind of person that may want to know this early. But I am starting a blog, and I've done some blogs in the past, but I've never done a fishing blog. So if you go to anglingwithaaron.com, you'll see the framework of what's starting there. There's 1 or 2 posts. It's not done. Like, it's just, so there's, I'm giving you the sneak peek before I'm really ready to release it. So I'll be working on that over the coming few weeks, and hopefully sometime in October, sort of make that a little bit more public and on some of the social media channels and stuff like that. But the blog will have the videos from YouTube on it, but then I'm also going to be doing a lot of writing and a lot about how I've found a lot of the places to fish, and quite frankly, I've caught a lot of personal bests this year, and so I just want to share sort of what I put into doing that with anybody who might want to find better places to catch bigger fish. Who knows? So this will be in development too. I'll try to make this look a little bit better, but I just figured I'd shoot the first video and see what it looks like. So for all of you guys that have been with me basically since February, March, when the channel started growing, I really appreciate it. There's a few of you guys that are fantastic. And speaking of that, Brian from Jumbotron, in one of my recent videos, I lost my net again. It's a running theme. It's not intentional. I'm serious. I swear at some point I'm going to lose that net, but I lose it so often. It's why I want to buy a really nice net, but I also know as soon as I buy an expensive net, I won't find it after I lose it. But anyway, Ryan from Jumbotron, he sent me a new magnetic, lure system or leash system for my net, and so I'm going to get that on here for the next trip, and we'll see if that doesn't help me lose the net a little less. So Ryan, thank you so much. Check out his channel. Again, it's called Jumbotron, and I'll link it down in the comments. I really appreciate this. It means a lot. So with that, that's it. That's what we're looking for over the next few months. Feedback on this setup would be awesome too. And I don't know what I'm going to do behind me. I'll probably try to do something, but it's probably not going to be my fishing rods. So anyway, with that, hopefully your September has been more productive than mine. It's been awesome though. I love being out on the water as much as I've been able to get out this month. Put in the reps, the fish will start showing up. So thanks again. I'll see you next time. Bye.